Hi, I am Maham Abed, and I am a SAG-AFTRA actress. And I just want to say thank you so much for letting me audition for this. I was super excited when you guys sent me a callback request because I feel like this would be right up my alley, and I usually don't say that about a lot of things. So this is just gonna go show you how structured I am. So I have a little notebook here, and I have written down points that I want to make because I want to be very thorough in my answers to you to make sure that you guys feel like I'm a good fit for you, and I also feel like I'm able to offer my voice in a way that it's heard, and just a good representation of who I am and what I want to bring to the world. So the first thing you guys asked was about location. So I travel a lot for work because I am currently a full-time model, and this is my first year without a first traditional structural 8:30 to 5 p.m. job, and I'm very blessed to have gotten here. So currently I'm located in Charleston, South Carolina, but I am traveling a lot, and just kind of doing different fashion shows and different movies. So, yeah, the second thing you guys wanted to know about was live streaming experience. So let me tell you something about me. I have had a plethora of live streaming experience. So I'll start with the first one. And that is that I used to be a middle school teacher for 5 years prior to becoming a full-time actress and model. And I got hit right in the middle of my first year with COVID-19. So we had to figure out live streaming real fast and mix those hybrid classrooms and teach to an entire population that was at home and in class. And then, so we've definitely done that. And forget just not even COVID, right? Getting up in front of middle schoolers at a juvenile detention center every day and talking. I don't know what better improv you get. Like, now that I've acted and gotten into this industry, people are always like, what acting school did you attend? And I'm like, a juvenile detention center. Because there's nothing that 14-year-olds will throw your way that adults, I feel like, can outdo. So I've gotten really good at rolling with the punches. And that was definitely the best impromptu, spontaneous kind of practice that I had. And prior to modeling, before I became comfortable with kind of being on the runway, I did a lot of interviewing. So I was the ambassador for New Magazine. It's a national magazine. They have branches in Denver, Baltimore, New Orleans, Chicago. I don't know if I said New York already, LA, any pretty big stream city, but they just started one in Charleston, South Carolina. So I first ran kind of a smaller position in more of the whole eclectic magazine. And then I was chief ambassador for the Charleston branch. And so I was really kind of responsible for bringing in new content. And I studied their social media analytics. Well, not me exactly, but their team did. And they found out that the engagement really got heightened with the videos that I was posting. So I would do things like stand on the side of King Street, which is a major street here, or Market Street, and I just find people and I'd be like, I like the way you dress. Where'd you find your inspiration? And this is all being there's somebody recording this, and just have a flat out conversation with them because I genuinely just love people and I love talking to them and figuring out what inspires them and just where they get their resilience and creativity from. I feel like that just builds so much more character in me, and it makes me feel like I understand why God hasn't given up on the world just yet. So, yeah, that's that. And then I also, prior to walking New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, Miami Fashion Week, which I've done all of those now, I actually was the girl behind the scenes interviewing the designers. And I've never had any training in journalism. So I would walk into every interview, it being completely unscripted. And I think that's what brought the raw, unadulterated, organic exchange between two humans. And so I would get to talk to these designers and find out what was your inspiration, right? Basic question. But somehow an hour into the interview, they're telling me about how, well, I created this collection because I struggle from multiple personality disorder, right? And for me, I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. Tell me more. And they go on to tell me about all these cool things that they do where they harness these things that society maybe labels as just pathological, and they've harnessed them to work in their favor and channel that creativity. And I just think it's the coolest thing ever. And yeah, so some other live stream experience that's more recent that I've had has been, I've just recently, like I told you, this past year, gotten into modeling and acting. And so I've gotten a little bit of a platform. And so I do a lot of live streaming, just kind of on my social media accounts, and I'll have people join, and I do a bunch of reels, and like they'll get like over 20,000 views. And so I guess people like listening to me talk. I'm very spontaneous, and I am actually very proud of that. Let me tell you that. It has taken me so long to get to a point where I'm unapologetically myself, which is now kind of leading into your third question as to why I think I would be a good fit for this. And so let me backtrack real fast, because I tend to also spiral and have so many thoughts going on at once. But which is practically why also I make a cool spontaneous live stream host and people just listen. But I'm just not afraid to own up to anything anymore. So the number one reason why I feel like I would be, if I could summarize it all into one thing, why I feel like I would be a good fit for y'all is because of my diversity. And in that, I mean several different facets. So first of all, I am Middle Eastern. So all 4 enemy countries came together to make me. I was born in Pakistan, and I have Arabian, Persian, Indian, and Pakistani in me. So that was already like a whoa, existential crisis happening. All the enemy countries came together to make me. And then my parents wondered why I had so many problems, right? Y'all did that. So, and then moving to America, can you think of any two more seemingly dichotomous cultures to put together? What's considered altruistic in one culture is like a doormat in the other. What's considered healthy boundaries in one is like you're being selfish. So identity crisis all throughout. So I've definitely had to find my place and my unique niche in the world. And the second part of diversity that I want to emphasize is my education. So I am a jack of all trades. So I started off in sales very young, and then I moved on to pursuing a bachelor's in biology and organic, and had a minor's in world religion. And then I went on to get a grad school degree. So it was a master's of education in counseling and psychology. So I was so intrigued by the human mind after studying anatomy. And then after that, I went into dentistry. Super cool, huh? Well, that was more because I had an arranged marriage, and then I got, that's a whole other thing. We'll talk about that later. So did that for a little bit. And after that, I practiced as a teacher teaching science at a juvenile detention center. And I loved it. I love those kids because I don't believe people are inherently bad. I think they're inherently good. And it just makes me want to figure out like what I can do. Like, how do I just put all of this positive psychology in and like bring the best out of people? Because I can only control my energy. And once I intentionally harness that, I can bring it out of other people. It's really awesome. So the next thing is kind of like what I was talking about with interviewing designers. So I have recently learned to kind of harness my ADHD, and it's like this beautiful rainbow that happens in my mind where I take all of these jack of trade type things that I've done, and they all just fuse together like a beautiful rainbow, and it happens so fast that I can't explain it. But I see how all of these disciplines, whether it's equestrian, basket weaving, biology, religion, I don't even know what, but they all twirl together, and I see the underlying motif. And so it makes it really fun to be able to express and talk about all these different creative subjects because they do have so much knowledge in pretty much all the things y'all named. And I think some of those were, you want someone that can talk about their hobbies. Okay, I've done like equestrian, self-help. Currently I have like 413 books on my Audible. I just like go grounding and laying in trees, yoga. I'm a long distance runner. I watch documentaries about serial killers just to figure out like why they became the way they did. I am really, really intrigued by exercise, cultural differences, just social norms, societal norms, how they vary. And so as far as astrology goes, I love that you guys put that on there because the Eastern culture works on a lunar calendar, right? So imagine going to your professors and being like, I'm Muslim. I don't know when I'm gonna need the day off. It's gonna either be Monday or Tuesday. And they're like, what? And you're like, I'm waiting for the moon sighting. Like, you sound absolutely nuts to half the people, but it's just lighthearted fun now. And so I have a lot of kind of experience with different things. Like, I know enough about a lot of little things to be able to contribute to just a plethora of topics. And let's see, what else do I want to say? I don't want to make this too long. Yeah, music, I sing. Films, I'm an actress. I just landed my first female lead role, actually a couple more, but we're not gonna talk about that yet. Cooking, I'm willing to learn. Professions, I named so many. Cosplay, Princess Jasmine, Ariana Grande. Dance, I was trained in ballet and I came out, it's like a freaking, I think, genetically coded thing that you come out dancing, belly dancing out of your mom's womb when you're Middle Eastern. So The unique niches that I was talking about, like I taught ecology, so I am 100%, like I was so happy you used that word, first of all, big props to you. So I definitely understand that being too Eastern for the Western people, too Western for the Eastern people. And as far as debates, listen, I worked at a Title I school and a juvenile detention school, so I have been teaching kids, like it's like, dude, before we stab each other, can we like at least like throw some curse words? Like, let's give me some, like, you know, of course that's not what I want, but it's like a way to get them to get down to that level and de-escalate, and teaching them just how to communicate with people who are different. And so yeah. And finally, I want to end with two major things. The two major things are that what will make me successful at this is the same thing that's made me successful at everything that I've ever tried, and that is that I refuse to give up. I have an inherent thirst for knowledge that I've possessed since I was very little. I love learning, and so if it's a new topic, you give it to me and I will do all the research because I'm naturally inspired by learning. I'm very growth oriented, and I live in a constant growth mindset, and I want to constantly remain teachable. And the last thing I'll end with is you guys did mention spirituality, and that's something that's really big to me. And so I know, like I've read Eckhart Tolle, Pema Chodron, Don Miguel Rodriguez, all the shebang. My favorite book is A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I love reading about books that even that I don't understand, that merge philosophy, secularism, science, all of it. But one of my favorite authors, Brene Brown, says that the truest marker of courage that we have is our ability to be vulnerable with the world. And that means we don't shrink down to make somebody, you know, seem bigger or try to act like the victim, which I've been there, done that. Or we don't puff up either to make ourselves look bigger than we are, and been there, done that. And so the one thing I can say is, despite the plethora of topics that you're asking for to be talked about, and I feel like it can bring a lot to the table to that, you will find what makes me unique is there's only one me. And you will see that come through in whatever topic I'm talking about, because I'm unapologetically myself and I'm finally comfortable in my own skin. And my whole goal is to help other people feel that way too, because there's only one of us, like one of us, and there will always only be one of us. And yeah, I hope that says enough, and I hope to hear from y'all soon.